So this one I'm kind of excited to talk with you all about because we're talking about multiplying binomials together. A binomial is basically if you have AB plus CD and you're multiplying them all together. Um, it's basically, and so the reason I'm excited to do this is because there's a method called the FOIL method. And I never knew about this method. I never had this method when I was learning how to do this. Basically, what I did was I would just write out each of the terms and I would multiply them out and make sure that I had them all copied down. It was a little, I'm not going to say it was a difficult process. It wasn't like a labor intensive one. It was a very thorough one and it used a lot of space, but I mean, I never got the answer wrong. Um, but this FOIL method is a really useful, excuse me, this FOIL method is a really useful one for remembering what the order is and remembering how to do the different multiplications of the different binomials. So first things first, we're going to do a quick review of the multiplying the binomials by the binomials. Um, and we're going to, yeah, I mean, we'll do a review. So starting out with the review, if you take a look at this first one, there we go, center of the camera. Um, if you have a base raised to a power multiplied by the same base raised to another power, what does that sound like? Well, it sounds to me like we will never escape the rules of exponents, and specifically the product of power rule. So if you have base raised to a power times same base raised to another power, you basically just add the exponents. So x to the second times x to the fifth equals x to the seventh. All right, good review, everyone. See you in the showers. No, I'm just kidding. But that is the correct answer. So moving on with this one. This one was from the previous worksheet that we did where we were multiplying monomials or multiplying polynomials together, where if you have an element outside of parentheses, well, here it's easy because you just have the one element inside the parentheses. But in the previous worksheet, we had this element plus this plus another one, and you had to multiply this times each of those extra elements. Here it's kind of the same thing, but in this case it's going to be the same principle as what we had over here. You're going to multiply both of these together. However, it's not. Well, I'll just show you here. It's not 4x times 5x to the seventh. What it really is 4 times x times 5 times x to the 7. That's actually what that is. It's four different numbers being multiplied together at the same time. They're grouped together, 4x times 5x to the seventh, but you can treat them as four different numbers being multiplied together at approximately the same time. And because you can treat them as four different numbers, that means you can organize them as four different numbers. Yeah, that means that you can organize them as different numbers. So like I did, I put all of the integers on the left-hand side, and then I put all the variables on the right-hand side. Now, mathematically speaking, I haven't done anything. I haven't changed the expression. I haven't changed the order of the expression. I haven't done anything. All of these are equivalent to each other. But all I've done is I've said I'm going to deal with the 4 and the 5 first, then I'm going to deal with the x and the x to the 7th. So that's what I'm going to do. So 4 times 5 is 20. And then x times x to the 7th is going to be x to the first, because there's always a 1 here, times x to the 7th. So that's x to the 1 plus 7 from our rule over here, times x to the 8th. And there we go. That's our answer. All right, beg your pardon. Which brings us to the next thing. Like I said, the FOIL method, I never really had this before. I never had an opportunity to do this before. So I'm kind of excited to do this. F stands for first. Then O stands for outside. Then I stands for inside, and then L stands for last. All right, and then there's a neat little mnemonic over here, just in case you get lost, or in case it's easier to remember letters than it is to remember letters. Um, let's do some numbers. Let's move some numbers. All right, so that leaves me with okay, y times 8 times y to the first. What I'm going to do is I'm going to show you the way that I used to do these, and then I'm going to show you what the FOIL method does, or how the FOIL method works. So the way that I used to do these was so I see y plus 8, so I would say y 8, and then I see multiplied by y plus 1, y plus 1, y plus 1. And then that would give me y squared plus y. That would give me 8y plus 8. And then I would basically combine these to y squared plus 9y plus 8, which is pretty much the correct answer. But let's see what I can do with the FOIL method. So with the FOIL method, I get the first, and so I take the first two, so y and y, so that gives me y squared. Then I do the outside, so it's so plus y. Then I do the inside, which is 8 times y, yep, which is plus 8y. And then last, which is times 8. Oh, you know what? Do it whichever way you feel comfortable doing. This is the FOIL method. We're going to focus on that from now on. So let's go ahead and get started. So we have first, which is going to be k times k, which is k squared. Then we have outside, which is k times, then we have plus, then we have k times 5k, k times 5, which is 5k. Then we have inside, negative 4 times k minus 4k, not x. And then last, negative 4 times 5, which is negative 20. So that's going to equal k squared plus k minus 20. Okay, there we go. And I'll circle these to make sure that we're still going. Alrighty. I am definitely not showing you all how I did this my way during the lecture presentation of this. Ooh, all right, okay. This is a little bit more exciting, but I'm thinking that even if we do things differently with the FOIL method, that we're still going to get the same result. We're still going to get good results with it. It definitely means that I can use my method to check your answers. So 8, so using the first, so 8 times 3, that gives me 24h squared. Last, which is 8h times negative 1, so minus 8h. Inside, minus 3 times minus 3h, that's minus 9h. And then negative 3 times negative 1 plus 4. So that gives me, so that gives me 24h squared minus 17h plus 4. There we go. All right. And moving on to our last one. Nope, not our last one. All right. Moving on to our next one. So I've got the first, so that gives me 9y squared. Last, plus 6y. Inside, plus 3y. And then last, plus 2. So that gives me 9y squared plus 9y plus 2. All right. I will admit, once you get the hang of it, this method is pretty fast. There isn't a lot of thought that goes into it, This is basically just a fast way of solving a problem, which on a personal note, I find particularly hilarious. Yeah, it's just a fast way of solving an existing problem. But let me walk through again, and I'll go through the individual steps a little bit more deliberately with some of these as I give these a try. Hopefully, I'll be able to figure these out. So the first step is, so with FOIL, you have the first. So you're going to be looking at the first two. So for the first two, you're looking at x and 3x, so that's 3x squared. And what you're doing with these, with each of these, is you're multiplying them together. And as soon as you're done with each step, you add, it's like each step is added together. If you get a negative number when you're multiplying it, then you subtract it, and that's all there is to it. Next, you do the outside. So outside means so imagine like this is, so I mean, outside means the outside numbers. So x and -6. So 6 times -x is minus 6x. So now this would be minus 6x. So there we go. Then that's outside. Then we have inside. There's I. Inside, which is these two. So that's 4 times 3x, which is 12x, positive 12x. And then last, which is 4 times -6, which is going to be -24. Now that I've got that, I'm going to combine all my like terms, which is basically just combining these two right here. It gives me 3x squared plus 6x minus 24. All right, let's give this one a try, and and again, I'll go nice and slow. The first four, I do apologize. I was basically trying to see how useful the method was in terms of going quickly, and yeah, it's pretty good if you want to go quickly. Yeah, which again, like I said, I find personally very amusing. So we have the first numbers. The first number in each parentheses. In each of the parentheses, the first is going to be 3a times 2a, which is going to be 6a squared. Then we have outside, which is 3a times -6. That's minus 18a. Inside, which is 1 times 2a. So that's inside. So that's plus 2a. And then the last. So if these are the first numbers in the parentheses, then these two are going to be the last numbers in the parentheses. So 1 times -6 is going to be -6. All right, now I just combine like terms, which again is just going to be the middle two. And that gives me 6a squared minus 16a minus 6. Okay, so that's that part of the page. Oh dear. All right. I mean, apparently there's more than one way to multiply binomials. I, I, I always figured the one way was perfectly fine. I thought FOIL was interesting if you wanted to speed run things, but I don't know. Well, I guess if you find one that works for you, then you stick with that one. I managed to find the one that works for me pretty early. So anyway, if this one works for you, bless you. God bless you. We'll just keep going with it. So the way the box method works is you're going to, so say that you're multiplying these two things together. What you're going to do is you're going to write each of the elements along the top and the sides of the box. So this is x, this is going to be -4, and then we have 5x minus 7, so this is 5x, and then this is going to be -7. And then what you're going to do is you're going to multiply the side by the top. So you're going to multiply each of the elements in the boxes. So this box here is going to be 5x times x. So we've got 5x squared. This one is going to be 5x times 4x times -4, so -20x. This one is going to be -7 times x, so -7x. And then this last one is going to be -7 times -4, which is 28. And then the final answer is going to be 5x squared minus 27x plus 28. And let's just for a lark try this with the FOIL method. I'm going to use the space over here. So x times 5x gives me 5x squared. So that's first. And outside, x times negative 7 is minus 7x. Inside, negative 4 times 5x is negative 20x. And then last is negative 4 times negative 7 minus 28. So that simplifies to 5x squared minus 27x, plus 28. Okay, well, I mean, they obviously both work. They obviously both work. Don't judge Richard, don't judge Richard, don't judge Richard. All right, let's move on. So without writing out the whole box, I'm just going to write the spaces, and I'm not going to draw out the spaces in the columns. Yeah, all right, I've got 6a, and I've got 2, I've got 4a, and then minus 5. So 6a times 4a is going to be 24a squared. 4a times 2 is 8a. 6a times 6a times negative 5 is negative 30a. Negative 5 times 2 is negative 10. So now all I'm going to do is combine all the terms. So that gives me 24a squared. Negative 30 plus 8 is negative 22a, and then minus 10. I got to make sure to circle my answers. Otherwise, don't say anything. Don't say anything. You're on a wireless mic. Okay. And I've got, yeah, all right. Once again, you can put them in whatever order you want. Like I happen to I see this top one and I'm putting this one on the top, and then this one I'm putting this one on the bottom. So let's try it the other way just to change things up a bit. So I've got 5h and negative 3, and then I've got h and then negative 3 down here, just to show that it really doesn't matter what order they're put in. I don't say anything. I've got 5h times h, which is 5h squared. Then I've got h times negative 3, which is negative 3h. Then I've got negative 3 times 5h, which is negative 15h. And then finally, negative 3 times negative 3, which is positive 9. Alrighty. I'm going to combine everything together. That gives me 5h squared minus 18h plus 9. And there we go. All right, finally, I'm going to go with 5y, 2, 3y, and 2. So 5y times 3y is going to be 15y squared. This space is going to be 3y times 2, which is 6y. This space is going to be 5y times 2, which is 10y. This last one is going to be 2 times 2, which is 4. So that leaves me with 15y squared. Adding these two up gives me 16y, and then finally plus 4. That was mostly done off camera. Sorry, you didn't really miss anything. That was mean of me. All right, we're moving on. So with this last one, we can try using whatever method we want to, So I'm just going to I need to use the box method. This is the box method section. I used FOIL with the FOIL method section. I got to use the box method on the box method section. So all right, I've got x, I've got 5, I've got 4x, and then minus 6. All right. So this space is going to be x times 4x, which is 4x squared. This space is going to be 5 times 4x, which is 20x. This space is going to be negative 6x. And this space is going to be negative 6 times 5, which is negative 30. All right, now we just combine all the like terms together. 4x squared. Negative 6 times negative 6 plus 20 is 14x, and then minus 30. Alrighty. And last one with the box type, I've got 5y plus 2. I guess I didn't need to put the plus, but all right. 4y and then 7. All right, so I've got 4y times 5y gives me 20y squared. All right, off to a good start. 4y times plus 2 plus 8y. 7 times 5y is going to give me 35y. And 7 times plus 2 is, of course, going to give me plus 14y. So 20y squared. 35 plus 8y is going to be 40 plus 43y, and then plus not 14y. I got a little carried away with that. Plus 14. So there we go. We've got two methods of solving the multiplication of binomials together. We've got the box method, where you multiply everything together, where you multiply everything using the using a box method, and then you got the FOIL method, where you multiply everything together using the power of acronyms. And yeah, I mean, I guess pick your poison, pick whatever works best for you. I'm going to turn this off and let my real opinions be known.